Another good day for you, ABM Business Math learners. Again, I am Ma'am Yang and welcome to my class. In this video lesson, standard deductions from employees' compensation will be discussed. Get ready! The most essential learning competency in this video lesson is enumerate the standard deductions with the corresponding computations. In our previous video lessons, we have discussed the way on how to compute the gross pay and the net earnings. We also identified the taxable and the non-taxable benefits. Now we are going to present on how to compute each deductions that we are going to deduct from our gross pay. The following are the government agencies collecting mandatory deductions from employees' earnings. The first one is PhilHealth. PhilHealth is an attached agency of the Department of Health. PhilHealth aims to provide health insurance coverage and ensure accessible and affordable health care services for all Filipinos. The next is the Home Development Mutual Fund, also known as Pag-IBIG Fund. It is a Philippine government-controlled corporation that provides affordable shelter through financing and other national saving program in the Philippines. Next is the Bureau of Internal Revenue. BIR is an affiliated agency of the Department of Finance and is in charge of collecting national taxes in the country. The Bureau of Internal Revenue is mandated by law to assess and collect all national internal revenue taxes, fees, and charges, and to enforce all forfeitures, penalties, and fines connected therewith, including the execution of judgment in all cases decided in its favor by the Court of Tax Appeals and the ordinary courts. Next is the GSIS, or the Government Service Insurance System that provides social security coverage to employees in the public sector. It administers employees' compensation program, which provides for work-related social security, and the General Insurance Fund, which provides non-life coverage for all properties with government insurable interest. But then there are government employees that are not a member of GSIS, and they are the uniformed personnel of the Armed Forces of the Philippines, the Philippine National Police, and the Bureau of Jail Management and Penology, and also the Bureau of Fire Protection. The contractual, casual, and other employees who have no employer-employee relationship, and barangay and sanggunian officials who are not receiving fixed monthly compensation. And then the last is the SSS, or the Social Security System, a government financial institution in the Philippines. The SSS administers the social security protection to workers in the private sector. Social Security provides replacement income for workers in times of death, disability, sickness, and maternity, and also for old age. Let us study first how PhilHealth computes the employees' contribution. So, employees with PhilHealth are covered by the National Health Insurance Program of the Philippine Health Insurance Corporation. There is a unified package of personal health services for all PhilHealth members that includes hospital and outpatient care. The monthly contribution of an employee and an employer is based on the compensation of the employee. The basis of such contribution can be seen in this table. For example, for year 2020, the employee's compensation, if the employee's compensation is 10,000 pesos and below, the monthly contribution is 300 pesos. Okay, so that is 2020, 10,300. Okay. If the employee's compensation ranges from 10,000 pesos and 1 centavos to 59,999 pesos and 99 centavos, a premium rate of 3% of the employee's compensation will be the monthly contribution. So that will range from 300 to 1,800. And if it reaches 60,000 pesos and above, 60,000 pesos and above, it is fixed to 1,800 monthly. Now, the 2021 premium rate wasn't able to implement because of the pandemic. So this premium rate wasn't able to implement. So up to now, 3% premium rate is still applied up to this month of May 2022. But this June 2022, the premium rate of 4% will be reportedly applied. But let us remember that monthly premium contribution are equally shared by an employee and an employer. Okay. For example, a monthly basic compensation of an employee is 30,000. PhilHealth contribution can be computed by multiplying the basic salary to the premium rate. So for example, 30,000 is the basic compensation, and we will use the 4% since it will be implemented soon, okay? So 30,000 times 4%, the PhilHealth contribution is 1,200 pesos. But then, as we said earlier, the monthly premium contribution are equally shared by an employer and an employee. Okay, so let's compute the employee's contribution and the employer's contribution. Okay, so the employee's share will be 1,200 divided by 2. So it will be 600 pesos. 600 pesos also will be the employer's share for PhilHealth contribution. Okay? Let us now proceed with how to compute the SSS contribution of an employee. Same with PhilHealth, the monthly contribution to SSS is also based on the compensation of an employee. Employers also have their share of contribution counterparts. The current SSS contribution rate is 13% of the monthly salary credit, not exceeding 25,000 pesos, and this is being shared by the employer, who shared 8.50%, and the employee shared 4.50%. The SSS uses a table to determine the amount that should be deducted from an employee based on his monthly compensation. For instance, a person earning 10,000 pesos will have a contribution of 1,310. Take a look at this bracket. So 10,000 is in here, and the MSC or the monthly salary credit for such is 10,000. Therefore, the total contribution will be 1,310, and out of this amount, only 450 will be paid by the employee, and the remaining 850 plus the 10 pesos for employee compensation or the EC fee will be shouldered by the employer. Okay? So in addition to that, there is a mandatory provident fund deduction for those contributing at a monthly credit above 20,000, maximum of 25,000. This one. Okay, take a look at this. This is the MSC. The additional monthly contribution ranging from 65 to 650. There you go. And will go to the members' workers investment and savings program. Okay, or what we call the provident fund. Okay, so these are the additional monthly contribution aside from this one. Okay, let's proceed. For example, an employee's monthly compensation is 30,000 pesos. When we look at the SSS contribution table, it is included in the 24,750 and above bracket with monthly salary credit of 20,000 pesos. When we look at the end of the table, we will see the total contributions as well as the employer share and the employee's share. The employee's total share is 1,125 and the employer share is 2,155, which brought to the total contribution that will be remitted to SSS amounting to 3,280. Let us try to compute using this formula. The employee's share is equal to monthly salary credit times rate, and we add the mandatory provident fund. And for employer share, monthly salary credit multiplied to rate plus the employee's compensation fee plus the mandatory provident fund. Okay, now let's compute first the employee's share. Now, 20,000 pesos is the MSC or the monthly salary credit multiplied to the rate of the employee's share, which is 45%, and we will add the mandatory provident fund. Okay, this part. Okay, now the total is 1,125. Now let's proceed to employer's share. MSC 20,000 pesos. 85% is the share of the employer plus the 30 pesos easy fee and 425 pesos as mandatory provident fund, a total of 2,155. So our computation is equal to the SSS contribution table. Again, SSS deduction is only subject to employees employed in the private sector. What about in public sector? If SSS covers employees of private companies and enterprises, meanwhile, the GSIS covers the employees employed in the public sector or those who work in the government aside from some employees working in a certain agencies that we had mentioned a while ago. But how to compute GSIS contribution? Section 11 of the Revised Implementing Rules and Regulations of RA 8291 approved on June 23, 2010 under Board Resolution number 88 provides that the rate of contribution payable by the member and the government agency shall be 9% and 12% respectively based on the actual monthly salary of the member. For example, the employee's monthly basic compensation is 30,000 pesos. The employee's share will be 9% of this basic compensation, and the employer shares 12% of such. For example, 30,000 is the basic salary multiplied to 9%. Therefore, 2,700 pesos is the employee's share. This is the amount that will be deducted from the employee's monthly earnings. And the employer share is 3,600. Okay, that is derived from multiplying the basic salary, 30,000, multiplied to 12%, which is the percentage shared by the employer or the agency. The Home Development Mutual Fund, or more popularly known as Pag-IBIG, Pagtutulungan sa Kinabukasan, Ikaw, Bangko, Industriya at Gobyerno, or Pag-IBIG Fund, is a mutual provident savings system for private and government groups. Like GSIS or SSS and PhilHealth, Pag-IBIG coverage is also compulsory for all employees. The employer and employee pays a monthly premium. As the Pag-IBIG contribution table shows, the employee share is pegged at 1% if his monthly compensation is 1,500 and below, and 2% if the monthly compensation is more than 1,500. The employer share is set at 2% regardless of the employee's monthly compensation. Take note that the maximum monthly compensation used for computing employee contributions is 5,000 pesos. This means if your monthly salary is 5,000 pesos or higher, employee share and employer share monthly Pag-IBIG contribution will always be 100 pesos. For example, the employee's monthly basic salary is 30,000 pesos. Therefore, the employees and employer share will be 100 pesos, since we have mentioned earlier that if the compensation is 5,000 or higher, the Pag-IBIG contribution will always be 100 pesos. Let us now proceed in computing withholding tax on compensation. Withholding tax on compensation is based on graduated withholding tax rates ranging from 0% to 35% and will be based on or dependent on net taxable compensation of a particular employee. For ease of reference, I included here the BIR's withholding tax table under train law, or the Republic Act number 10963, which is also known as the Tax Reform for Acceleration and Inclusion, or TRAIN Act. This tax table is effective from January 1, 2018 to December 31, 2022. This table shows that if an individual earns 250,000 below, no tax shall be collected. But if an individual earns from 250 but not over 400,000 pesos, in excess of 250, 20% will be collected. And over 400,000 but not over 800,000, there will be a 30,000 tax base plus 25% of the excess over 400,000. And over 800,000 but not over 2 million, a tax base of 130,000 plus 30% of the excess over 800,000 will be collected. And over 2 million but not over 8 million, a tax base of 490,000 plus 32% of the excess over 2 million will be collected. And over 8 million, a tax base of 2,410,000 plus 35% of the excess over 8,000 shall be collected. The previous one is presented by annual earnings rate. This one is quoted daily, weekly, semi-monthly, and monthly. As you can see in this row, this one is for the daily computation, this one is for weekly, and this one is for semi-monthly, and this one is for monthly. To compute for withholding tax, the first thing we have to do is to get our taxable income. So in this example, employees' monthly compensation is 30,000 pesos. And we have to deduct the monthly contributions such as SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-IBIG or HDMF. And we have to add up all to get our total deductions. So in this case, SSS, PhilHealth, and Pag-IBIG totaled 1,825. Now what we will do is to subtract the total deductions from the monthly compensation, and the result will be the taxable income. Okay, so this is the monthly compensation, 30,000, and the total deduction is 1,825. So our taxable income will be 28,175. Now, after getting the taxable income, let's take a look at the income tax table and determine where the taxable income falls into the columns. Okay, so let us look at this table. And since the taxable income is 28,175, this one falls into column 2. Okay, in this column, with monthly compensation range of 20,833 to 33,332. Based on what's on the column 2, the prescribed minimum withholding tax is 0. Okay, 0 plus 20% over compensation level. So in this case, 20,833 is the compensation level. Now we have to subtract first our taxable income to the compensation level and get the 20% of that. So in our example, taxable income is 28,175 and the compensation level is 20,833. The difference of these two is 7,342. 7,342 multiplied to 20%, the product will be our income tax. The income tax of this employee will be 1,438 pesos and 40 centavos. To compute for net pay, we will deduct the income tax from the taxable income. Okay? Taxable income is this one, and this is the income tax. And voila! This is now the net pay of an employee working in a private sector and earning 30,000 pesos monthly. And if the employee is employed in a public sector, this will be the computation of his or her income tax and net earnings or net pay. Okay, for example, the basic compensation or the basic salary is 30,000. We will deduct all the deductions such as the GSIS amounting to 2,700 as we have computed earlier. PhilHealth is 600 pesos, HDMF or Pag-IBIG amounting to 100 pesos. Therefore, the total deductions will be 3,400. We will deduct these total deductions from our basic salary, and that will be our taxable income. So, in this Example, our taxable income is 26,600 pesos. Now we will compute the income tax. 26,600 is our taxable income. Like in a private sector that we have compute earlier, it falls on the column 2. Okay, so our taxable income is 26,600. We will deduct the compensation level, which is 20,833 from this one, and the product and the difference of this will be multiplied to 20%. So that will result to 1,153 pesos and 40 centavos. And we will deduct this income tax from the taxable income. So 26,600 minus 1,153 pesos and 40 centavos. The employee's net pay will be 25,446 pesos and 60 centavos. Thank you and see you in our next video lesson.